and so how much?
Depends. It just depends on the business.
Okay, so so you must have a separate books then?
It's all, yes ma'am, we have our compass account booking where we actually put down, okay, this deposit, this is what was deposited by this certain person, or this business.
Okay, so if, then I think there's probably should be maybe policy for that, because if you're telling me there's one account and it's separate, and I'm giving you sponsorships, and I'm going to, then if, I'm thinking if I'm whoever gave you the 3,000, then I would think that that's free money, then you would have to find a way to reconcile it back to that area. And then if I'm for the Cinco de Mayo, you have to find a way to reconcile it to that area. And if...
We get sponsorships, Mayor, they actually tell us, like, for example, if we have a mixer, you know, we just had one of the local businesses give us a check and say, okay, here, go ahead and use it for your events. It wasn't very much, but they go ahead and they
right, so you create a line item just for that, and you know that that money goes specifically for that, and anything that gets spent is going to be taken to that and expensed.
No, they don't specify. Like, they don't say, okay, that's only for your mixer. That's the only thing you can spend it with. No. Whatever sponsorships comes in goes into the compass account. And so that gives us the, you know, when especially Mr. Tapia, because he's there on a weekly basis, we'll go ahead and show him, okay, look, so-and-so gave us so much money. Oh, okay, great, we're gonna have a mixer, whatever, that's where the money comes from. That's where the money comes from. That's what the compass account is for.
And that's what I was making reference to, Mayor, was going back when you made that comment was with that account, it's important that we line item where those things need to go.
And that account, what we use it for also is when we do our traveling, that's the credit card, the debit card, that's what we use for the hotels and stuff. And then when we get back, Pat goes together so she can refund that account from what we already have set for travel. So, because a lot of the times, instead of having to go through the purchasing to send already the checks for the hotels and stuff, we use the credit card because we don't have a CD credit card.
It's not a debit card.
A debit card.
But no, that's what making reference to earlier, Mayor, is that there's some of the things that we are going to be implementing because we believe it's important, just so that there's
I think it's real important.
Sure.
I think it's super important.
Sure.
And especially if we're have to go back and reconcile and you know, credit cards just give you also that other option of canceling and debating. And if you can look at that and take into consideration with your board to switch to a credit card so that you don't pay something off and good luck in getting it back. And credit card, you can always challenge when there's so much time frame, so a little bit more security. And then have you adopted our purchasing policies? No. No. Is that something y'all were considering?
Well, that was another item. Like I said, Mayor, we're going to bring those. It was, that one was one. The other one was for the debit card, and the other one was for the just overall policies and the management of the office and how things are done, just so that we be more structured. So when I reference the Wesco EDC, the Edinburgh EDC, they have a written set of, there's documents on how they conduct business. And so we've got it from top to bottom. So we're going to be, we've already reviewed it as a staff.
Okay.
So we're going to recommend it to the board and get that done. We just had a lot of things coming up here lately, but that's something that we want to do.
Card as well, now with all the thefts, private security,
yes, sir.
Where they get your card, it can wipe you out.
Yes, sir.
And like I said, we're getting all these practices in place because they weren't before, but they will be now. So we can get these in place so that when we do the budget next year, we're going to definitely take these suggestions and put them in there. They're important.
I would appreciate that tremendously, that you start working on that and implementing and get copies of the policies that we have, just because those are proven.
Yes, ma'am.
They've been proven over time with the city, so I think that it would be prudent we're handling that kind of money that we have policies in place.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And like I said, we do have review all the time on all those things. So, but it'd be better if it was in writing.
Sure, and I'll just be waiting for my documents.
But we'll get those to you, Mayor.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you,
Commission.
It definitely looks way better. I've got the information I needed. And thank you for coming, Mr. Tapia, also so that you can, you know, explain some of it and hear it as well. I don't have anything else. Anybody in the commission? Right, is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you very much. Item J, consider authorizing the finance director to issue a one-time incentive pay reward or cost of living increase to full-time employees.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission. The following are the numbers in comparison between a cost of living increase to employees of 1%, 1.5%, and 2%. And also I'm getting a comparison for giving a one incentive to the employees of $500, $400, and $300, which is there. My recommendation is to give a 1.5% increase. We're gonna have to take it from the general fund, which is $81,000, 10,000 from the solid waste, and 14,000 from the utility fund.
Numbers again, one more time?
It's $81,000 for the general fund, 10,300 from the solid waste fund, and $14,000 from the utility fund. Okay. In total, we're talking about 105,000, more or less, including benefits.
Now, anybody that's received an adjustment would not qualify for this year. You've already adjusted your salary, we just hired you. I would think,
It all depends. There's one
caveat.
yeah,
Which is?
that we need to talk with the city manager. Yeah.
What?
That I need to talk with the city manager about, which is on the IT department. That's something that we're gonna have to talk, and probably
I know there were
either-
some upgrades in some, I think it was an upgrade in another department as well, wasn't there? In the fire.
Fire, yes.
So I'm thinking those that we've just finished adjusting, that we would not adjust again.
Right.
I'm okay with a 1.5. I think we understand, we'd love to be able to do more. Always keeping in mind that we don't have it in this year's budget. So for us to implement it in this coming year, we're gonna have to go into our unrestricted fund. Typically, that's not the way you do it. We need to change the practice so that we should have an audit on time and be able to do it by the time we start our budget time, so that it is incorporated when we're looking at all these numbers. But I think the projections, as far as we heard Mr. Paul Villarreal talk to us about, that the upcoming year, we had a lot of adjustments this year, people getting their exemptions, but that he saw a lot of it being done, so that next year we can look at better numbers. And I think Mr. Rodriguez and they're working on trying to bring in some increase on our sales tax. So while we would take a hit to the reserve restricted, unrestricted fund, I think that we just have to work at this upcoming year to make sure we make up for that. Because once we approved, unlike, of course, the one-time incentive, this becomes all the time. But I think we haven't done it in about 3 years. This will become our 3rd year. And I think it's time we do it. And I'm willing to take that. If we were to do the 1.5, we are able to, how much would we be able to put, what do you project that we're putting into the reserve fund at the end of this year?
I'm planning for the reserve fund to be between 21% to 25%.
And how much would you be increasing? What dollar amount are we putting into the reserve?
I don't know yet, until we get into the end of the year, actually.
But we would not be decreasing it too much under that percentage if we do the 1.5?
No.
We'll still be in the range?
Yes.
Perfect.
Correct.
I definitely would recommend that. Any thoughts from the rest of the commission?
1.5% for all full-time employees.
Correct.
My recommendation would be, provided that they're not on probation. I know when we discussed it with the EDC, that was one of the points that I made, that they were still on probation, that we weren't gonna do that. So,
I don't know if
that would
there's
be
any
my-
policy is there any policy anywhere, be it state, federal, or anything that says that you can exclude people on probation? Is that just policy by the city?
Legally, I mean, you don't have to. Legally, you're fine. But I don't think we have a policy for an incentive.
It's their, what, cost of living? Not necessarily across the board the way we're discussing it. And well, now, Mayor Pro Tem, if they were able to exit their probationary time, would they then
Yes,
take on the 1.5 at the
yes,
time of
yes.
the ending of the probationary?
Right, after the probationary period.
Okay.
They deserve it. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
After
getting
the
through the 6
probation.
months,
Right,
yeah,
as long as they serve
probation period. I like the 2%. Sounds better. I'm pretty sure everyone else agrees with me on that. So, I mean,
So how much would that affect the entire?
yeah, that was my next question to you.
How much are we gonna be affecting the general fund for?
Because he's projecting from 21 to 20 what? From 21 to what?
21% to 25%.
25%.
So basically, the difference that we're talking about here, it's probably between $20,000 to $25,000 more.
More.
Correct.
Okay.
And what would the effect, I mean, what would your guesstimate be?
It's not gonna be a huge difference.
Will
Probably
we go below the
0.5,
21?
0.5 probably percent.
Will we go below the 21%?
To be on the safe side, I mean, we'd rather choose, the 1.5%. Right.
And if you remember, not that I wouldn't want to give them the 2, but we have to meet for the bond that we're about to
Correct.
issue.
Right.
Is the representation that we're keeping this balance, Commissioner Gasa. And that's, I think 1.5 is, good. You can't assure us what it is. Any other thoughts?
Well, they deserve something. So, I mean,
That's fine.
we can.
So you're, make a motion. I move that we award the 1.5% cost of living adjustment with the caveat that no new hires or adjustments and probationary time, well, if they're probationary, they're new hires, right? After probationary time, they are able to get the increase.
But, okay, but not new hires as in, if you're on probation right now, after you complete, yes, they're entitled, but not if we hire somebody tomorrow,
In existence right now,
in existence right now.
right? The others would wait until
Following.
the following year.
Following.
If there's another.
Yes. Okay,
So this is
motion?
what we.
I've made a motion.
Second?
Discussion, go ahead,
No. We just gotta maintain this yearly, right?
forever.
Yes, exactly.
All right, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes, September the 8th, 2015, regular meeting. B, consider second and final reading of an ordinance amending the code ordinances section 6.03, stagnant water, weeds, rubbish, and other unsanitary conditions by placing regulations on residential property owners to maintain the right-of-ways, the front of their yards and sides, and placing regulations on property owners to maintain a portion of the public alleys, and adding a section. Receptacles, placement of waste collection regulations, proper brush and residential. I'm going to pull, we can just vote on each one individually. Approval of minutes, is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item B, is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion?
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned at 9:10.